guys, so this is a video that is going to be tough for me to do, and not because I'm going to be emotional and cry, which you guys are already used to, but because this is a topic that I really don't want to talk about, and I think you'll understand why as I continue on. But this is my story about being groomed by a gay man. So I was maybe, I'd say 16, 17 when it began. But there was this gentleman that lived in my building who was kind of just like single, and he had his own apartment, and he was super stylish and just going out all the time, and just like a super cool dude. And so now for me and my teenage friends in the building, we idolized him. We just thought he had this life that it's like, God, we all wanted this life that he had. And he would, he'd go out and do whatever he did, and he would come home, and we'd all be in the hallways. This might be a New York City thing, but the teenagers, we kind of just hung out in the hallways, especially when it was cold outside. And so we waited for him to come home, and hey, what'd you do? Where'd you go? And he'd tell us these stories and just this amazing life that he was living, and we ate it up, But I remember there was this one night where we had this conversation with all of us in the hallway, and I said something which I kind of outed myself without really. Obviously, I wasn't trying to do that. I didn't know I was doing that, but I did, and he caught on to it. And so he invited me to the apartment, which, we would go into his apartment every so often, especially me because I was the oldest boy in the group, and just to talk, very platonic, very nothing, to talk or to show me things or whatever. But so he takes me to his apartment. He's like, wait, what did you mean by that? So I was trying to, dance around my answer, but he eventually came out to me, and so I was able to come out to him. And I knew that was big for him because his family, which also lived in the building, they were super religious, super Catholic, and he did not want for them to know about his true self either. So that was something that we had in common. And once that happened, we hung out all the time. And he would take me to places around the city, and eventually he would start taking me to places that, I don't know if these places exist anymore, but back in the day, there were places where men would go to meet men. And I think he was just trying to I thought he's trying to show me the ropes. So we went to the piers at the village of New York, which is kind of like you would park your car and you get out and you lean by the railings, and you lean a certain way, and you grab your package in a certain way, and that kind of let other guys know that you were interested. You go back in your car, and then someone gets in the car and things happen, or we would go to the sex tape stores, and there'd be a door that kind of looked like an employee closet, and you go through the door, and downstairs there'd be a little movie theater with porno and men doing stuff there. Oh man, there were the Rambles in Central Park. Any of you from New York who are gay of a certain age, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Or just the public restrooms. So freaking many places. We would go to these skyscraper buildings downtown, and in the bathrooms there'd be married men wanting to do stuff, and we went through all of them. And I think at each place we went to, he kept trying to just push me to do stuff, and I'd always chicken out, I remember this one time, oh gosh, he would take me through the gay prostitution section of New York, and I would always just go, no, I know. He said, what about him? What about him? No, no, no. But one night there was this guy. He was a biracial guy. He was just such a beautiful guy, and I couldn't stop looking at him. And he knew it. He goes, "You want him, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, kind of." So he pulls the car over. The guy gets in the back seat. He's kind of sitting in the middle seat, and they're negotiating. And I'm freaking out. Why this? I'm like, I can't believe this is actually going on right now. And my friends look at me like, "What do you think?" And I'm just like, And I remember the guy, he kind of like starts massaging my shoulders, and he goes, "Oh, you're so nervous, you're so tense, you're so cute, I'll do you for free." At that point, my friend's like, "Oh, come on." And I'm like, so we let him go. And just stuff like that, to me, I was just like, I thought it was so cool. Like, I had mixed emotions, as you can imagine. First off, I was super excited just to see this world that I didn't know existed, and that now I'm part of it, and all these cool, weird places, which I know might seem seedy to some folks, but to me, it was just like, wow, I'm finally able to express myself. And without getting on my, soapbox, I understand that all of that was a form of protest, especially back in the 90s. And this is all historical stuff, going from Stonewall, as far as like gay men needing to find these spaces where they could be themselves. And it often would happen in these places that seemed seedy, but that was all they had. And that continued. And in the 90s, we were still living in that type of era. So I'm not knocking it. And again, I was excited. But the other part of me was, I was downing myself big time. Like, I would go like, "Michael, why can't you just do this? Just come on, Mikey, just do it." I was just kind of like, "What's wrong with you? Why can't you do this?" So I was downing myself big time. That was another emotion, just self-loathing. And the third one, again, like I said, I know better now, but I was disgusted. Like, I thought, this is what it means to be gay. Like, the entire time of me growing up, I thought once I become an adult, I'll be able to live my life the way that I want, freely, open. And here's this guy who is an adult, has his job, has his own apartment, but he's still having to hide himself because of his family, because of his religion, because of society. And I thought, is this my life? So all of that's going on. I didn't know what to do with myself, but I had him, and he was my friend, and I loved him. I loved him as a friend. But then one day, now, in our outings, we would go to different restaurants and eat, as you can imagine, just being friends. But one day he takes me to this nicer restaurant, and we're eating, and he says to me, "I have to tell you something." And I said, "Okay, what?" He goes, "I love you." And I said, "I love you." He goes, "No, like, I love you. And I really am thinking in my teenage brain, you don't know what an impact you've had on my life. Yeah, I love you. And then he says, I'll keep this PG-13, but he goes, "No, like, I want to be intimate with you, love you." Oh, that's when, like, oh my gosh, what? I couldn't believe it. But I said, I appreciate it, but you're like a sensei, you're like a guide, like a parental figure to me. I don't see you, I could never see you in that way, just because of you've had a specific type of impact in my life, and I like that, and I want that, I need it. So I can't see you in any other way. And he said something like, I understand. He goes, but because I love you, he goes, I can't be around you. It hurts me too much. So I'm gonna have to have space. And that's exactly what happened. And again, this is not about anyone else's story. This is just about mine. So what I learned later on is that he was doing this with others, not at the same time, but just afterwards he had done stuff with others, and then prior he'd done stuff with others. And I realized that he was grooming. I'm not him, and I don't want to put myself in his brain, so I won't say that that was his intention. Maybe he was thinking, because I never really felt that. I kind of felt like I'm still tormented by this. Again, this is why I didn't want to tell this story, because first off, I love him till this day. Secondly, we have kept in contact, and I know that he's done the work and he's not that same person anymore. So for me, it's like I feel like I'm attacking him, even though the purpose of this is not to attack him. It's really for you guys. Like I think about, man, if anyone else is going through that, because obviously I'm in a better place now, but when it happened, when our friendship ended, man, it freaking destroyed me. It really, really destroyed me. And it set me back, and it put me back in the closet when I thought maybe I could. The door was creaking, and I just totally slammed the door for a long time. But I think about any of you out there who are in that same situation or have been, and I felt like, man, I need to do this. I need to let them know, regardless of how I feel and what I feel about him today, which again, I love him. But the story itself needs to be told, just because if any of you are going through the same thing currently or have, and you're trying to process what's going on, I want to let you know that you're not alone. And again, that's the whole purpose of this channel. So please like, subscribe, more importantly, comment. Let me know if you've gone through a similar thing. Of course, I want to hear about it.